Hello, this is Jackie from EFL Designs. I'm in the xLights Zoom room with John Deary. We are going to build a state effect for the joytivity, and we're going to get the colors in on each one of the characters here. John wants to get this set up, and I'm going to let him take the wheel while I be the nagging driver or backseat driver, telling him how to do it. So John, if you will, go ahead and highlight the O for the otivity there and go to the left side in the model property and open up the submodels first. We're going to take a look at those. And what you'll see is there's a list of different submodels on the left side, and you can click on each one and see what they are. When we go into the states, we'll be able to import these individually and then give them the colors that we want. And this will be an easy way to handle this process. So I just wanted you to see what these are and how we'll end up bringing them in. My hopes are to bring in just the baby Jesus, and then we'll bring in Mary underneath that as another state. And then we'll bring in Joseph as another state beyond that. We'll do it all on the same definition. However, we will turn around and build another one that is for the state as a static lighting, and it will light the entire prop up. We'll do that for the J, the O, and the Y, so that whenever you put them in a group, you can just put a state effect on the group, do a per model default, and have them light up. But I'll go into that in greater detail here in just a little bit. So you see the different submodels. Go ahead and close this window. You can just hit cancel at the bottom. And then let's go into the states. All right, maximize that for us, please. Okay, go up to the top and hit add. And we're going to name this. Let's just name it, I don't know. Let's name it characters. You can rename it if you'd like, but we're just going to name it characters for now, because the next one we do is going to be called static, and you'll see why we'll do that. Right now, if you'll grab that slider bar, slide all the way down to the bottom, and you'll see that there's a limit to how many parts of the state, but that's 200. No doubt we'll hit that in what we're doing today. So go ahead and scroll back up. A few rules here. One is that the states, you cannot use capital letters or spaces. So no capital letters, no spaces. The first view will give you a little warning if you do a capital letter, but every so often you get down to the lower ones and it will not give you that warning. It'll allow you to do it, and then whenever you try to save it, it'll give you an error. So we'll just avoid that when you do it. A couple ways to create a state. If you will, go over here to the right side, click and drag across as many of these nodes as you like. Just click and drag. And we're not looking for anything in particular. You'll notice that on the left side, it put those nodes in place. Okay, so if you wanted to build particular nodes, you can either double click a node or you can click and drag across them, and that will input them into this. States are not like submodels. There's no order, right? It's just either on or off. That's kind of what makes it a state. So things that we can do is create colors for them, but for now, this is all we're doing, is just going to select some of these. Go ahead and hold your shift key and drag across those again. Click and drag across those again, and it will delete them. So you can remove things, individual parts or whatever, by clicking and dragging. So just go ahead and delete everything out of that. Of course, you can do it over on the left side by clicking into the node dialog and delete in that. Do me a favor and right click in that top line there. You see where it says import submodels? Go ahead and import submodel. You have to be at that state right there where you had that particular cell highlighted. If you just right click in there, it brings up another menu. But bringing in the submodels, we're going to do this individually. What I would like to do for the first one is just build the baby. And so we're going to bring in the parts of the baby. So baby face, click it, highlight it, and go down to OK. Okay, right click in the number 2 cell. You may have to right click in the nodes itself. It done it. Okay. So go ahead and import submodel, and we will bring in the swaddling and hit OK. Okay, so now you'll notice on the right side, you see how we have the magenta face and we have the white. The white areas are the ones that we have already, that we're actively looking at. The magenta ones are the ones that are previously selected. But with the state, you can select as many as you want, as many times as you want. They'll just get overwritten the further you go down. So you have a render order here. 2 will be a higher render order than 1. So if you have a repeating node, number 2 will be the color. Okay. On the left side, what I'm going to get you to do in the state name, remember no capitals, no spacing, just type in the letter 1 or the number 1. And then number 2. Actually, I'm sorry. Delete that and go and say 1. Okay. What we're doing is this is going to be position 1. And whenever you put a state on there and you select 1, it's just going to be the baby. Next thing is we're going to right click and let's jump down to go to number 6. Actually, go to number 5. Go to number 5 and right click in there. Import submodel. This time we're going to bring in Mary. So let's take a look. We'll have to do each thing one at a time because we're going to give them all individual colors. So bring in Mary, her robe would be good. Hit OK. And we're going to do this for each component. And if you have any questions or anybody sees anything that they want to ask while we're doing it, please feel free. Okay. All right. So name each one of those 2. Okay. Now, the reason why I had you skip 2 spaces is because we're actually going to repeat those. So up in that top node area right here, I'm going to get you to click once, give it just a little bit of a pause in one of these here, and click it again. So it's 1 click. It's not a double click. It's a single click and then another click. All right. You can do either a right click copy or you can do Control C for a copy. And then click in there until you get the cursor. Okay, and then Control V or right click and paste. All right, and let's do the same thing for the second line. Okay, and then put 2 to the left of those. Now, the reason why we're doing it this way is because if you are going to call number 2, then you want the baby and you want Mary. So the next step, obviously, is we're going to copy each one of these and we're going to make them a 3. So if you want to go through that process and just do that for each one, it take a little second to do it, but
Sure. So everything, all 9 lines.
yep, all 9 lines, and then we're going to give them a number 3. Now that's a way for you to select things, but obviously we're not going to utilize that function. If you click too fast or anything, it will bring up that other dialog. little bit of a headache at the beginning, but you know, when you're sequencing, this is going to make life a lot easier and a lot faster. Okay. So yeah, give everything a 3. And you don't have to use 3. It's just, it's an easy thing to do. 1, 2, 3, you know, 3 positions. And with states, anytime the 1 is called, everything that is listed as 1 is going to get called. Anytime 2 is called, 2 is going to get called, and 3 and so forth. You can go all the way down to, you know, 200 lines of this if you wanted to, but I think you'll be good. This time we're going to bring in everything for Joseph. Once we get Joseph brought in, we're going to do a little modification. The good thing about you doing this and you seeing how this process is done is that you're going to be able to come in and change colors and fix things like you want to. I'm going to make a few suggestions, but ultimately, with this prop in your yard, it's you take command of it, right? So, um, you know what? Don't bring in the blackout.
Okay, I think that's all of them now.
Okay. The reason why I'm not going to get you to bring in the blackout is because we're not going to actually, you know what? I just boo-boo. Go ahead and bring in the blackout. Yep. Okay. All right. So what we're going to do is this. Right here, do you see this one that is active? I'm going to get you to hold your shift key and click and drag across that specific one. We're going to take it out of this list. Then once we get over to Mary, when, you know, if you'll notice, her arm comes down here and then her sleeve comes up here. So when we get to her robe, we're going to delete that out as well there. So we're just not going to use the blackout function here. But go ahead and give each one of these lines a 3. Okay. And on these 3, on the 3s, you should be able to find Mary's robe somewhere. You may have to just click and choose here until you find it. There you go, right there. Let's get rid of these 3 by shift and drag across all 3. Okay, perfect. And notice we're going to leave them in for the 2, and that way when Mary is lit up, she's fully robed here, and in the 3, it's just going to disappear. So there's a couple ways we can handle bringing them in. We can stagger state effects by, you know, lines, and we can have 1 and then have it fade into 2 and then have it fade into 3, or we can just have 1 and we can create a timing track for it to have them come in. But this is the very beginning of it. So the next thing is up in the top left corner, you'll see a checkbox for force custom colors. Go ahead and check that. And now you have these. I'm going to quickly make another notice here. Those will be white, right? If you don't check, double click in here and change anything, they'll be white. The problem is that it's actually not white. It is a clear and it just shows up white. And if you are using a state as an outline in the face effects, it will not show up. So you have to choose white if that's what you want for a face effect. That's just that has nothing to do with what we're doing now, but it's just brings in a good point of go ahead and say that. So let's take a look. Click in this top line and let's see what it is. Okay. I'm pretty sure that was the baby's the baby's face. So let's go to this color right here. Double click and hit. And let's choose a color that would be very close to the face, you know, probably that little orange or something like that, maybe. And let's take a look and hit OK. And it does that. Good. So it took in the color there. That's great. The next line will be the swaddling clothes. And, you know, maybe a blue or maybe something of that nature. We'll find out. Something that looks pretty good. All right. Now, that's the 1 and 2, but we're going to have to repeat those for the first numbers of each section. So if you want to go ahead and do those because they're repetitive there, right? And then also these two right here, you'll have to get those as well. Okay. Click on the second one and let's change the colors. I'm not for sure which is which. You know, we'll have to just play around with it and see. Go ahead and just pick any color. We'll fix it. Just something that will tell us what we're looking at. All right, so that's her robe. What color do you think for her robe? I mean, it could even be this color.
Yeah, maybe we'll keep it purple.
Okay. Let's do that for the third line here as well. And you kind of see the pattern, right? We're going to kind of build this up. Go to the next one and let's see what it is. Okay, that's her face. So let's pick that same color that you did for the face of the baby. And then of course that next line here. Yeah, don't forget to do these lines down here. We want to make sure we do exactly the same colors in the same order.
Did I move one? So that.
And I believe that one should be the same blue as those two should be the same.
Is that's her eye. Do I have them out of order? 2, 1, 2.
Okay, you know what? That may have been what happened then. Okay. So yeah, we'll definitely make sure that we get the right ones.
I'll just make this one red for now.
Now that's the baby, the swaddling clothes. How did we end up with that? Yeah.
2, 5, 7. That's our robe. Okay.
Yeah, that's the robe. So we'll want to go with that magenta color. Okay, that's an I.
Okay, so we're back up here now then.
Yeah. So what is this one now? Okay, that's her hair. You know what? Leave it red. Makes her stand out. Okay, and that's her headdress. Now, what I'm going to caution you here with this is the two colors you have here in lights, they're going to look very similar.
Someone.
You'll want a pretty good bit of a difference between the shades. This is what's going to be important when you get the prop up and running and you have it in front of you and you light it up and you say, man, that doesn't look the same. So you'll be able to come in here and adjust these colors to get it where you want, if that makes sense. Because you're looking at the prop right here and it looks fine, but the actual lights are not going to show you the same detail.
So let's see. It's 176.
This can be a little tedious, as you probably see now, right? But had we have named this according to the submodels coming in, we probably wouldn't get confused. But considering what we're trying to accomplish is to have one call, which is the number 1, 2, or 3, to do the job of every submodel for us. So all right, that is his robe. And again, you're going to have this prop in front of you and you're going to take a look at it while it's lit up and come back and adjust these colors according to what looks good to you. And most of the time, what you're going to find is that, like this brown here, this brown is going to be almost the same color as the tan that's in the arms and the faces here. The difference is it's just going to look a little dimmer. And that's part of the process, is that you're going to set these up enough that you have some contrast. I would do a deep dark red for that one. And usually it's you can do it however you want. That'll be fine. Yeah. Just get a good dark color. Enough that you'll see a difference. And then the last one will be black. As black as coal.
Which one was this? Yellow. Oh, that's his hand, I think.
There you go. Okay, we missed something here, unless that's the color is chosen, but we don't have that colored in right. Where was that one?
Yeah, I
Just
just
change.
made that
Oh,
silver.
okay. Change that one to yellow to give it a little brighter color. We want a little bit of, fancy here. Okay, so you've got this done. So this is the first step. I'll show you how to use that in just a minute. But what I'm going to get you to do is go up to the three dots beside the add button, and you'll have a copy function. I'm going to get you to do copy. Change the name here to static, all lowercase static. You could name it uppercase. It doesn't matter, but I'm going to kind of give you a little hint on this. Go ahead and hit OK. Delete out the ones and twos and leave nothing but the three. If you click it one more time, it'll turn blue, and you can just hit the delete button. Okay. All right. You can delete the numbers as well on the left side. Okay. Don't worry about the colors. You could change them if you wanted to, but there's nothing there to be called. So we're fine. We're going to leave this one called static. That way, if you just want to light them up, there's two ways to go about it. You can just call the state static, or you can call the other one and just tell it number 3. Either way will work just fine. Next thing we're going to do, we're going to create one more. So click add up at the top and type in all caps JOY. Hit OK. And go ahead and just type in O over here. It's only going to be one line. So right click in there, import submodel. And we're going to be looking for the outer O and inner O, or just the O. O has both. Go ahead and click either one. Hit OK. And that's good. That's enough for the moment. Go ahead and hit OK down here at the bottom. And make sure you hit save over here so that we don't lose any of our progress. Let's go to the J and create a state. We're going to call it joy as well. And you can either click and drag across both of them or whatever. Yeah, you can just type in joy, whatever, because what we're doing with this is we're lighting up joy. And just click and drag across everything. And that is good. Hit OK and save, and let's go to the Y and do the same thing. When you group this, what you can do is you can group the entire models, put a state effect on it, do a per model default, and you can tell it to use the state joy, and it'll just light up joy. And you can tell it whatever color you want, because we're not forcing any colors. And you absolutely could force colors if you wanted to, right? If you wanted to have a static color there that just comes on, you could do that. I'll leave it up to you, later on. Okay, so let's just go to the sequencer. I don't know if you have any sequences opened up. How good you do. You can just click done at the bottom right, and that'll give us a 30-second animation. Okay, find your joy. Okay, put a state effect on the otivity. Okay, And what you'll notice is that we have characters, right? That's the C. But drop this down and see the different options that we have. Just because you've created them, there they are. You have joy, you have static. They're there for you if you wanted to use them. But go back to the characters. And you'll notice, just like in the face effects, you have a state here or you have timing track. For this, drop the state down and choose 1. And it looks good. It looks like what we wanted it to, just the baby. Drop it down and check the 2. Okay. And then drop it down and check the 3. And there you go. We have all of them. So right click on Otivity, set a layer above, and then that same line, number 2 line, the number 2 line, right click it and set multiple layers below. And 2 is fine. Go ahead and hit OK. What I'm going to get you to do is on the top line, we're going to put an O, or for joy, up there, and you can stretch it out across the entire sequence. And a quick way to do that is to click right in the center, do Control Shift left arrow and right arrow, which is Command Shift on your Mac, and that drags it out. Okay. Click right in the middle of this one right here. Drag it over just a little bit until the leading edge is right here. No, the leading edge. We want to. There you go. Perfect. And take and change that to a 1 over here in the state. Grab another state effect and drop it on the second line and drag it about right here. Another state effect. And put it on the third line. Okay. We're going to change it and actually drag it underneath it just a little bit, because we're going to have the top one fade out. Okay, perfect. Change that to a 2. And you kind of see where we're going with this. The next line is going to be a little bit undercut as well, and it's going to be 3. Perfect. If you would like to do this, you can highlight all 3 of these at one time. Actually, you could probably do all of them, but that's fine. Right click on this fade. Click on the out transition first, and then right click on the arrow over there. Okay, it does it there. Bulk edit and change it to a 1 and hit OK. All right. So you see where our lines are. Let's get our leading line to at least go back behind the where it starts to fade, and do that for all of them. That's perfect. Click play. Let's see what it looks like. See if we've done our job right. So what we'd expect is the baby to pop in. It's going to pop in. Boom. There it is. All of a sudden, oops. And then we'll have Mary come in. And then now Joseph. And you can play around with the fade. You would want more fade, more of that. So one thing that we're missing, the reason why we're missing it is because our render order here, click right in the center of this one. Now, what you'll notice is that we still have the O, the interior of the O is still up top. So what we want to do is easiest way to do solution is to right click on line 4, put a layer below, and then click on the top state effect and click the down arrow and move it down to that layer. And now that puts it below the other ones. And so we should get that blackout function that we want, and we'll have the other ones actually cover it up. Makes them look like they're forward of the O just a little bit. And that's what we were wanting. So you see how the render order there made a difference. Okay, there is another way of doing this. And you could either right click and do a new timing, but we'll just use this timing here. You know, click about right here. And then hit the T button. About right here, T button, and about right here, T button. Okay. Shift, no, maybe not shift. Just double click this first line right here. Double click that line. And it's okay. Hold shift and double click. And then type in 1. And okay. Do this to the second line, shift double click and type in 2. And then over here, we'll have to do another timing mark. So click up in there and hit the T button again. Perfect. Shift double click and again, bring in the 3. All right, delete these 2, the second 2, or just leave us 1 is what we ultimately want to do. Click right in the middle of this state effect, do command shift left and right arrow. You may have to do it multiple times because it's going to stop at each. Yeah, one more time. And then the left arrow, you'll probably have to do it twice. Perfect. Okay, so instead of us choosing the states, let's do a timing track right here on the left side. Click on timing track, and it's already at new timing because that's the only one, but if you had to choose, you drop down the window and do that. And so we're good. Right now, it should play through. There is no transition though. That's one of the things that we're going to see is there is no transition. So we should see the baby. The next part, we should see the baby and Mary. And then the next part should be all 3. There you go. So that's using a timing track, and it's using the, you've seen how to bring them in manually and choose which ones you want. And you have a little more way of doing that, more details. You can fade in and fade out and do whatever you want to. But if you just wanting it to kind of pop in, then a timing track is an easy way to go about it. All right. The next thing is this. You have a joytivity here. So let's delete these 2. On the joytivity group, I want to get you to drop a state effect in there. The key here is that you can't have states on the groups because you're not defining a state in the group. The way you do this is that you'll change the render style on your group. You will change that to a per model default. And that will apply each state to each one. And we have it set to joy, so that should work just fine. We're gonna have to choose a color because we didn't give it a color. It shows to be white, yellow. Try a different color. Let's see if it makes it easier to see what we're missing. Right click it and reset just in case. No. What is this right here? Is that something lit up? I can't really tell.
Those are moving heads.
Oh, okay. Okay. Move your display over just in case it's trying to light up that way. Okay, there it is.
I must have named the O differently, right?
If possible, we have a lowercase JOY. Let's go back to your layout and look at the O. Go to the states, and we'll see how it's done there, and we'll fix that. Yeah, so it's capital there, and we didn't capitalize it in the other. No, it doesn't matter about this here. It's about the actual definition. So change that to a lowercase to match the other one. Or we could change the other ones to an uppercase. It really don't matter. So you should be able to go to the 3 dots and rename it. Okay. So it's not going to let you do it. It may not let you do it until, yeah, there you go, until you change that, because it's a little bit of a quirk that it sees it as the same thing and it won't let you change it that way, but it's not. But you kind of figured out how to fix it there. You may have to re-render. Is the O in the Joytivity group? Can we check that to make sure?
Sure.
I mean, I'm sure it is, but you just grab the little slider over there on the right side of that, slide it all the way up to your groups, and then we'll look.
Many groups.
You do got a lot, don't you? All right. There it is. So you have the Otivity O. Okay. So and this is the way I would normally tell people to do this group, right? You actually done the group proper way. The problem is that since that's a submodel, the way we're doing it now, it doesn't work. So click on your Joytivity group and let's just change it a little bit. Yep. Click on that. And then this is going to be up to you whether you want to leave it this way or not, but go ahead and remove the Otivity O and then bring in the whole Otivity. Now, one of the quickest, easiest way to do that would be to filter it right here and just type in Otivity. There you go. All right, save that. And let's go back. You built the submodels, that's the way I would recommend building the Joy, right? You may have a different group if you wanted to build it, have one called Joytivity and one called Joy, and build them 2 different ways. That's kind of up to you. So this should work. You did save it, and yeah, that should be fine. Go back to your sequencer, click off somewhere, click back on it. And you may have to re-render. Okay, so do this, change, see if that'll drop down and change. We may have to delete change it to all and then go back to Joy. Let's see, per model, go ahead and delete it. Let's just see what happens if we bring it back in. Okay, for the sake of doing this, drag any other effect and drop it on top of that state. Okay, now drag the state effect back over top of it. Okay, change this again to per model default. Okay, go back to your layout. Let's see what we got wrong. Let's check the O and check the, just click on the O by itself. And let's look at the state. We may have something different there. So drop your name down, go to, so how did we end up with 2 of them? So click on the lowercase Joy. That should be fine. Go to the uppercase Joy. And let's delete that one. So go over, that's maybe what's going on. It's got us, it's picking the first one. Okay, this should fix us. Go ahead and hit OK, save it. And let's go back and take a look. I figure it was just choosing the first one. Render it again. All right, drag another effect over top of it and let's change it again. And then back to the state. Okay, change that again.
Per model default or preview?
Per model default is what you want. Yeah. State doesn't care about X and Y. It's just lighting up the particular numbers. So state definition is joy, J-O-Y, capital J-O-Y. One of the problems that we have, we may need to go back and change that to capital J-O-Y since that's capital J-O-Y. Let's go to take a look. Go to your layout. Let's look at each one. Because we probably need to get each one of them exactly the same. Let's see what we got. So that one's capital. Mainly it's this name right here. That's what we're referring to, right? We're not worried about this here because in the per model default world, we're telling it to use this definition. So go ahead and hit OK. Go to the Y. Let's check it, see what it is. I may have messed you up earlier by getting you to, change that other one. So that one's capital J-O-Y. All right. Okay. Let's go back to the otivity and we'll have to go through that little procedure of building your capital J-O-Y again. So that one's still there. Delete that for now. Just click delete since it's empty. Hit OK. Drop the arrow down, go to joy, and let's see if we can rename it. I'm actually glad we're having these few little problems so we can work through it here. And anybody else that gets a chance to watch this can see how to fix their stuff. It's a little bit of troubleshooting. So that goes really good with it. So capital J-O-Y and hit OK. I'm not for sure if this fixes it, if it wasn't the fact that that other J-O-Y was still there and empty. That's actually my most likely suspect here. Okay.
Looks like it's stuck this time.
Good deal. All right, let's go back. See what we got. Look at that. We got it. We actually done something right. Or I did. All right. So any questions on how to use this?
No, this has been great. I actually thought I was smart. I actually exported the model and opened it up to try and get those line definitions. And I was copy and pasting. It was super tedious. And then I hit the wrong button and it canceled the dialogue. So I didn't know about the right click import submodel. So that's awesome. It's not, right click isn't always super discoverable. But once you know how, it's great.
Yeah. So there's quite a few people in the room now. Is anybody else have any questions on what we've done? Any suggestions making it better? Definitely speak up if you'd like. Other than that, probably clear as mud, right? Okay. If no questions, and if it seemed pretty intuitive to everybody, Mr. Host, I think we are done.
All right. Thank you, Jackie. Thank you, John.